What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be going through new details about the upcoming Warzone map, but not just that, even new details about what could be the cancelled Warzone map. Definitely stay tuned. But as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we have plenty of brand new article coverage also going up on dkdynamite.com for those who want to stay up to date with all things Call of Duty. With that, yesterday I did post a full news roundup on all upcoming DLC for our third season. I'm expecting marketing to probably kick off in the next week and a half, closer to March 10th. That's of course the official 5-year anniversary of Warzone, but if anything does change, I'll of course keep you guys in the loop. Now, I want to start off with mentioning Mazrah, a map that actually got pretty well received and to this day still holds up as one of the best, if not the best, Battle Royale map that Warzone has ever offered. I think when Mazrah first launched, the community reception was a bit wonky just because of the mechanics that Infinity Ward introduced with the beginning of Warzone 2.0, but I think most of us out there would probably agree that Mazrah would play pretty well with either the MW3 movement or even what is now Omni movement in Black Ops 6. According to data miners, following the recent title update of BO6, Mazrah apparently is going to be coming back, but for Warzone Mobile. So unfortunately, the map itself isn't going to get added into the big Battle Royale map rotation for regular Warzone, and we'll talk about why that's probably the case a little bit later in this video. But I actually forgot, as somebody pointed out in my Discord server, that a blog post many years ago actually hinted at the fact that Mazrah was going to be added to Warzone Mobile one day. So it's cool that that is finally happening, although I'm surprised the game itself is still getting support because it doesn't seem like there's much of a player base left. Without going off on a tangent, it's essentially another version of COD Mobile, which exists in China, except significantly less content, and obviously you can tell there's been layoffs or budget cuts. The game itself has not gotten much support since the Black Ops 6 integration a couple of months ago. The weird thing about Warzone Mobile is that it was essentially Modern Warfare 2 Warzone Mobile and didn't actually globally launch, especially in the United States, until MW3 was already out, so the game was technically already dated by the time it dropped, which was really weird to see. But apart from that, data miners also reportedly found references to what's about to be a countdown timer in the COD HQ launcher that I'm assuming is going to count down to the return of Verdansk. We've seen countdown timers before with other major Call of Duty updates, whether it's a countdown to the Black Ops 6 reveal or the Black Ops 6 beta or even the full launch. We've seen countdowns for major releases, but yes, I will remind you, several years ago in Modern Warfare 19, there was that infamous timer that was counting down to the release of the original Warzone. So it's only fitting that probably in the next few days, maybe this week, they'll end up going ahead and throwing a timer into COD HQ, letting us know that on March 20th, if that's when Season 3 releases, we will be seeing the return of the first ever Warzone map. Now, what's really interesting is the COD Online shop does have a Verdansk collection, which apparently is going to go on sale beginning on March 10th. That's the official 5-year anniversary of Verdansk, so I'm guessing either on that day or shortly before it, we'll at least get a definitive release date for the big Warzone Season 3 update that everybody's waiting for, especially when it comes to the return of OG Verdansk. So something's probably going to happen on that day, if not shortly after. March 13th would mark the official week gap before the season begins, but the St. Patrick's Day event is also scheduled for that day, so who knows if they're going to also market a full blog post and roadmap on the 13th. With that out the way though, as of the last few days, leakers have also been reporting on new details for the return of Verdansk. In case you guys missed it, apparently floating loot is going to be coming back. After many years of fans asking for this, it's back. And I think this was a great feature that I think allowed for some cleaner looting in matches of BR or Resurgence, especially when there's tons of bodies on the floor and you just can't pick up the weapon that you want. There's also going to be the return of red doors, which we saw in Verdansk 84, that again opened up the idea of a fast travel system inside of Warzone. I know a lot of competitive players or Warzone content creators are heavily against the idea of seeing redeploy drones added into OG Verdansk. I personally would prefer them because of map flow and just keeping the pace up, but they added in 150 player BR to Urzikstan a few days ago, so I'm sure they'll keep that for Verdansk, which should keep the pace up, eliminating the need for, I think, redeploy drones. But the red doors could actually be part of an Easter egg or something, which I would hope to go ahead and figure out when the map actually comes out. It's also a Black Ops year, so why not, right? Now, before we continue, I want to let you know about today's sponsor, Aniba, an online marketplace that offers the best deals on digital gift cards, game codes, and even DLC. Users can also earn cash back on select purchases so that they can play more and spend less. If you want to check out Aniba, then click on the special link down below in this video's description or the pinned comment. And thank you to Aniba for sponsoring tonight's video. Now, Verdansk isn't actually the meat and potatoes of this video. What I really wanted to get into is a brand new rumor that I'll of course dive into again on the upcoming podcast, but according to the Ghost of Hope, an insider that has accurately reported on quite a bit in the past, Avalon, the rumored Black Ops 6 Warzone map that I believe was supposed to release back in Season 1 or at some point this year, may not even be coming out for the next year's Call of Duty Warzone integration. So a couple of months ago, it was rumored that Avalon, which is clearly emphasized quite a bit at the end of the BO6 campaign, also the current post-launch narrative of Black Ops 6, that space has spawned several locales, which we now have as a couple of multiplayer maps. Apparently, the big Warzone space where all these locales were from was supposed to actually be the Warzone Season 1 map for not Black Ops 6, but Black Ops 7, Call of Duty 2025. At some point in development, it was very clearly planned for Avalon to be the Black Ops 6 Warzone map, but just like the Ural Mountains back in Cold War, the map got replaced by Verdansk. Now, in a perfect world, it would have been fantastic if Avalon was a Season 1 map, Area 99 for Season 2 Resurgence, then Season 3 could have brought us OG Verdansk. There might be a very particular reason why they couldn't do this, which I am going to follow up on in a second. I've also said in the past that I think before the hacking issue got bad for current Warzone, people probably would have warmed up a bit better to the BO6 Warzone integration if Avalon had been there to really make the new Warzone feel fresh. I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't seem like it can really feel like a new iteration of Warzone every year unless a big new BR map is offered with Season 1. And that of course spawns a discussion for another time about whether or not Warzone should be quote-unquote innovating each and every year with the new integration. Maybe they should just stick Warzone in its own corner, let it get continuous updates that are essentially separate from Premium COD. But it could get to the point where people realize, hey, I already played Verdansk for several years, also played it maybe on mobile, to the point where it would have maybe been better long term to put a big new map in Black Ops 6 Warzone instead of relying on nostalgia. I think if anything, the better alternative would be to add in OG Verdansk and a new BR map with 2025, but I don't think we're going to end up seeing that either. But it already didn't really make sense to me that Avalon could have been saved as the Warzone map for the next Call of Duty, considering it's rumored to be a futuristic Black Ops 2 sequel. Would it really make sense to see a futuristic version of Avalon that ties to the narrative? I'm supposed they could have figured out something, but I highly doubt the Black Ops 7 campaign has anything to do with the Black Ops 6 campaign that we just finished a couple of months back. And it would also be a case of releasing the map later than it probably should have, since again, we're likely going to be visiting completely different points of interest in the COD 2025 campaign. Now, as a big narrative nerd myself, it's been really heartbreaking to see just how underwhelming the post-launch story's been for BO6 compared to a game like Cold War that just weaved everything together flawlessly between multiplayer, Warzone, and other cinematics. BO6 clearly got hijacked because of the return of Verdansk, which not only impacted the post-launch story because we're not actually going to Avalon to experience or see anything, but it also looks like they have to somehow weave in a throwback update in Season 3 with Verdansk coming back in. We know Hudson will probably be an operator again. I'm not saying I don't want Verdansk to come back for the anniversary. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate to see this happen again during a Black Ops year, similar to what may have happened with Ural Mountains during the Cold War life cycle. Now, I do believe the real reason why they can't have two active BR maps in-game at once, and I know what some folks are probably thinking, well, we had Vandal and Mazrah in-game at the same time, why can't we see Verdansk and Avalon in-game at the same time? Well, Vandal wasn't exactly as big as Mazrah was, nor was it as big as Urzikstan. It also supported Resurgence, but it looks like because of the fact that Last Gen is still supported with the Call of Duty franchise, that actually might be holding devs back with how much they can pack into the COD HQ launcher at once. This might also be holding them back from going all out with Warzone in, let's say, Black Ops 7, because now that they have Verdansk back, they're probably going to want to keep the map live in-game for at least a year before they eventually vault it again. So maybe they're in a pickle right now because of Last Gen. And if you're like, wait, why would Last Gen affect anything? Well, yeah, the hardware and technology is a little bit different on PS4 and Xbox One compared to modern PCs, or hell, even the PS5 and Series X or S, which also already have a number of issues with running current Call of Duty sometimes. The player base just seems to be a little too strong on last gen hardware, and that's for a number of reasons, right? It's not just because people out there don't see a big graphical leap on current gen with Call of Duty, but I don't think there's really much of a reason to even upgrade to some current gen hardware because of a lack of first party games. So at this point, it's like if you're on console, you're safe to play everything, even if it doesn't run as good, unless you save up for a PC. So it's a little concerning because if they're stuck in a loop with Verdansk now and they can never add the Avalon map in, then what does that mean for Black Ops 7? That means Season 1 again won't have a new Battle Royale map, but instead we'll probably end up seeing a new Resurgence map that ends up replacing either Rebirth or maybe even Area 99. When can we get another Battle Royale map again? I do want to mention how Avalon could still be salvaged to some capacity. The Ghost of Hope did follow up and mentioned that Avalon might be used for the Outbreak map in Black Ops 7 Zombies, since allegedly Outbreak is set to return. So I made a full dedicated Zombies video a couple days ago talking more about Outbreak specifically if you want to check that out. But I would also hope that if the map does get used for Outbreak, they'll just pull a Cold War and just pick the map apart and then create little fire team or ground war experiences where we can play 12v12 or 24v24, or, you know, have multiple groups of 4 in a single lobby at once. Maybe we'll see something like that. I would certainly hope so, because if not, then there's almost no other reason why we can't have a fire team or ground war in Black Ops 6 right now, unless they're saving something like that just to add more juice to Black Ops 7 to compete with other big games that'll be releasing in 2025 and 2026. So I do believe Avalon may just be turned into another Ural Mountains, where you still see certain POIs and locales from that map reused for other game modes. You just never end up seeing the completed Avalon as one single giant Battle Royale map, which again is truly unfortunate, because what I'm thinking is with Modern Warfare 4, Infinity Ward's next Call of Duty, they'll probably have a bit of a reset or a wipe with current Warzone content, where maybe they just release a new application for Warzone, or they just say, hey, you know, we're going to keep Black Ops 6 and 7 integrated, just not MW2 and 3, and now we have MW4 being added. I almost can't picture more than 3-4 games being integrated at one moment in time with one Warzone. You can bet Infinity Ward's probably doing another Warzone map, since rumors also suggest that we're going to get a fresh DMZ map with Modern Warfare 4 that's separate from Warzone. So that almost confirms that Warzone is going to get a new map in the next couple of years that will either replace Verdansk or sit alongside it if they decide to ditch last gen. This could mean, though, if Avalon doesn't come out, we're about to be stuck with Verdansk until fall 2026. Think about that for a second. That obviously doesn't include other Resurgence maps that may come out in between. I'm talking about big Battle Royale in the meantime. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. Really curious to hear all of your thoughts on what could be the official cancellation of Avalon, which might not mean forever, could just mean for the next year or two. And also how you're feeling about the brand new details about OG Verdansk. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.